Hey, Coach, thanks for being with us today. We are so excited to just kind of hear your story. We'll ask some silly questions, we'll ask some serious ones, but just a time for us to get to know you.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of outside of football. You know, I know a lot of football is kind of what your identity is here, but I think there's another side of you that I think people should hear about. So I guess my first question for you is, where did you grow up?
Well, I actually graduated from Prattville High School in 1997, and we moved to Prattville when I was in 4th grade. Before that, we lived in Eclectic, Alabama, the big metropolis.
Okay.
And, when I was a little boy, we lived out in Dallas, Texas for a little bit. My mom's from Dallas, but for the most part, I grew up here in Central Alabama.
Okay, so you could probably call yourself a Prattville native at this point.
I'm a lion. That's right.
That's awesome. So this is kind of a funny question, but what was like the worst thing your mom ever made for dinner, maybe consistently, or maybe a restaurant that they would go to and you're like, ugh, this is like the nastiest thing?
No, this is easy. For whatever reason, we ate a lot of pot roast.
Really?
And I get it. Pot roast is good, but we seem to eat it a bunch. And I get it. It was easy. It was cheap. And it went a long way. So, but we seem to have it all the time. And I'm kind of scarred. Me and my brother the same way. He don't like roast either because we ate it so much growing up.
Oh man, I can't imagine. So obviously you played football. Did you play any other high school sports or junior high sports?
Yeah, I sure did. I played baseball till I was in 10th grade. I was on the basketball team till I was a freshman. I actually threw the shot and discus for the track team. And just played organized sports. That's probably it. But man, we played everything.
Yeah.
From soccer, kickball. Man, we even pride myself on being a pretty good ping pong player.
Oh, okay.
So all types of sports.
Really?
But, organized sports. You know, football, baseball, basketball, and track.
Nice, nice. So they might have been there. Some of the students might know them, but do you have a favorite teacher from Prattville High School?
From Prattville High School? Oh, give me a curveball there. I always liked, she's not there anymore, Miss Sephora, our Spanish teacher.
Okay.
She was really good. She just made things real fun and made learning Spanish fun.
That's good.
You know, it is easy to say I had a lot of good coaches out there that were, man, very influential. I know from just growing up, I can still remember my 1st grade teacher, Miss Tatum. Yeah. Her husband, Mr. Tatum, was actually ended up being assistant principal at Prattville High when I was there. But that was when I was living in Eclectic. So that's probably a few of them that were very influential.
Okay, so I have to know, what is the grossest thing you've ever had to eat?
Well, yeah, I've never been one to take challenges, you know, kids eat insects and bugs. Probably mine's by mistake. I remember one time I was eating some chips and some dip, thinking, man, dip's a little tangy. Yeah. And I remember looking down in the carton, and I think that dip had been in there for a long time.
Oh, man.
Because it was green and molded. And I bet I'd eaten it.
You thought it was a Spanish artichoke dip.
Yeah, I mean,
it was just mold.
I bet I ate a third of the whole cup of it, man.
Were there after effects from it? Or?
I was worried, no.
You left unscarred.
That's right.
Okay, so what have you been doing with your time away from school so far?
Well, we've been with me and my wife home, like everybody else, kind of. I know a lot of people are getting to go to work, but some are confined to home. Man, we're raising kids, doing a few projects around the house. I am able to get a little work done.
Nice.
There's a lot of things that when we do come back to school and get back with football, things that'll be ready that I need to go ahead and get done. So, been doing a lot of that, and just spending time with the family, trying to catch up with some old friends and family, things like that.
Yeah, it's been a unique time where people can just be at home with their families, and even though they're working, they're around them. You know, and I was talking to some students, and I was like, you guys have the unique opportunity to have nothing to do. Yeah. And I think a lot of them have been like, I've been bored out of my mind. But some of them have really gone and done well with this whole quarantine thing and have been creative and doing art projects and things like that. So growing up, what kind of church did you attend?
We attended a few different churches, living in a few different places. Yeah. I know when I was real little, we attended a Baptist church. I know when we moved to Prattville, we attended Church of the Nazarene for a while. You know, we kind of grew up in different. We didn't really have a church home. Probably Church of the Nazarene, the main one there for a while. I know when I was in high school, I went to Crestview Baptist Church for a little bit. So just kind of a little bit all over.
Yeah, so you've had a little bit of all the flavors. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess my question for you is, when did your faith kind of become your own? Like when it stopped becoming mom and dad had sent me to Sunday school, I wanted to go.
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's something I've always, I talk with my family about. Truthfully, probably in my early 30s, about 31, 32 years old, probably around 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
I just really just started to, I got up every morning. I'm an early morning riser guy. I get up about 4:30 every morning.
Wow.
Now, I'll be honest, I hadn't got up at 4:30 every morning during the break.
Okay, good. Give yourself a break.
Yeah, well, we sleep in about 5:36. Anyway,
still early.
That's right. But I get up, and what I started doing was doing a devotional in the morning. So just reading Bible verses, different devotionals. And probably about 8 or 9 years ago is when my faith became mine, when I really started studying the Bible and really trying to understanding what having a relationship with Christ means, and the importance of that faith.
Yeah.
And just more of the Christian faith in general. So.
That's awesome, man. I bet that's kind of changed how you've done parenting, and it's probably helped your marriage and just kind of changed all aspects of your life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just for a lot of reasons. And like all of us, we need it daily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a challenge.
We
all kind of, at times, I think everybody at certain points gets away from that, and you have to get back to it in alignment. But it just seems my life works better when we are aligned with God and our Christian faith.
Amen. Yeah, it's hard for, I guess, us to, when we're so busy, to just say, all right, I need to make time for the scriptures. I need to make time for God. And I think we all have seen our lives go from really strong to kind of weaker and coming back.
That's
but,
right.
It's awesome that you've kind of solidified that and said, okay, like each morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to make that a priority. Speaking of God and your faith, is there someone in mind that has kind of just been like an influencer on your life that you could say, they kind of really showed me what a Christian man or woman is?
Because I've studied so many different people and leaders and stuff. I don't know if there's one exact person that's been an example. I will say this: growing up, I didn't find my faith my personal faith until I was about 31, 32 years old. My father was a big influence. That was always something that was important to him. And, and he, even to the day he passed, and I got older into a grown man, he reminded me constantly, don't ever stray from God. Don't remember, where your any type of success, your family, all your resource comes from him. And even though sometimes he even struggled with his faith, he never failed to remind me of what it's all about.
Yeah,
so I'd say
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So I have to ask, what's your favorite Bible verse? What's your go-to verse? The thing that just gives you strength for each day?
Yeah, the one I kind of always lean on is Deuteronomy 31:6.
Okay.
What does it? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. The Lord will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. That's my first name's Joshua. Middle name's Caleb.
Okay, so, did not know that.
Yeah, so I guess the two spies that had the courage to let's go into the promised land, and just ever since then, just always has resonated with me. And the God will never leave you or forsake you. And it seems to, no matter what challenge you go through in your life, it's marriage or job or career, just the daily struggles, man, knowing that, hey, put your worry, put your stress, put it on me. And that's what God wants. That's what He wants from us, is just believe, man. Just trust that I'm going to be there for you. Doesn't mean there's not going to be trials, or not mean there's going to be trouble, and my will may not be done, but His will always will be done.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And the more we can, that verse to me just is epitomes that, man. Yeah. It's just, hey, I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. There may be some times when it don't look good, but hey, I'm always going to be there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a verse for encouragement for us today, even. A lot of people are fearful. A lot of people are uncertain of what comes next. Maybe their job is in the balance, or, they're just bored, or maybe they aren't going to be able to finish their degree on time. And so I think that's a good verse for us to be reminded of, knowing that, okay, God is always with us. Do not fear. The Lord is with you. And to be strong, be courageous. I think it's one thing to be fearful and kind of retreat and stay faithful. It's, I think, another thing to, okay, I'm not going to have fear. I'm going to be faithful, and I'm also going to be strong and courageous and go out and be that person that God has called me to be. So I love that verse, and it's a good reminder. So I guess during this quarantine time, during this time of being away from school, what would be one piece of advice you have for students right now?
While they're away?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I'll say this, I was a good student growing up, because when I was younger, it just came easy.
Yeah.
But then at some point when you get older, you get into college.
Yeah.
I mean, we really got to do the studying thing.
Yeah. You actually have to read your books and things like that.
We actually got to study to make a good grade. So, you know, I think to me it's just tough because we're in the teenage kid business, being a high school football coach and trying to encourage our young men to understand the value of education and how that can help you the rest of your life. And, learning a skill, even through books or through a trade, whatever. Yeah. Of how, man, that just the rest of your life it sets you up. So trying to understand look, you've got to be a kid and you got to have fun. There's things you want. Look, I'd be lying to you if we didn't enjoy being a teenager at times, hanging out with friends and doing stuff. But understand when it's time to focus on education and learning something, man, and take interest and value that you're bettering yourself. Have pride in what you do. To me, that's the advice of just during this quarantine. It's tough because a lot of times if you're not getting a lot, you're depending on the schools and teachers to send you information, or even I'd encourage them to find something daily. If there's no work right now being sent, just find something to read. Just find something to keep your mind thinking. It seemed to me, I'm a guy that once I can get going and get into a routine, man, I can go. Yeah. And I think getting out of that routine is scary for some of our kids because I know the kids I coach and deal with. Man, routine is huge. It's that consistent environment that you got to have, and as much as they can keep it consistent on a Monday through Friday basis, man, at home, I think the better they're going to be when we do come back to school. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, that's really good advice to just keep learning, keep trying to expand your horizons. And being realistic. No one's going to expect, I don't think it's realistic to expect a kid from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day. Yeah. Be right now while they're at home, be deep into a book. Yeah. But they're going to have to find as much ways possible to be as consistent with that. Yeah. Finding maybe something that they're interested in that maybe it's not being taught at the school. And, that's a good point. YouTube's a great platform to be learning how to throw a baseball or whatever it may be that you're wanting to learn. Another question I have for you, kind of moving away from the faith aspect, is what's your highlight football moment in your life, whether it was winning something or playing somewhere? Man, there's so many. And it's really far as maybe when it comes to wins, probably when we won a state championship, I was the head coach at McGill-Toolen in 2015. That was just an incredible moment. Yeah. A credible accomplishment. So many things went into it. Man, any time that you get to see a kid's dreams come true, man, especially the kids that when you get them early in their program and not even saying you're not sure about them, but man, when you start to see that kid mature, when you start to see the light bulb come on, he starts to get it. And you understand. It starts clicking. That's right, man. Yeah. That's to me is, and any impact as a coach that we can have on that, man, that's huge, man. It's good to see that. You spend so much time around these teenagers, man, you just get so embedded in their lives and want them to do so well. When you see the moment when they start to get it, and those moments are huge. So, and there's many of those. So I don't know if there's just one specific moment. But any, man, big wins, coaching or accomplishments is huge. Football's been pretty neat for me. I've got to, through football, I've got to meet a lot of neat people. I've got to go to places and see things I probably never would have seen if it wasn't for football. And I got a chance to get my education paid for, play college football. That's awesome. We've had some, we had some big wins, but just, and having lifetime friends. I tell, football's a fraternity, and it's not, and it's funny, even going back to my 20-year reunion 2 years ago. I'm 40 years old, so 2 years ago we had our 20-year reunion, and it's amazing that some of the football guys, we still tell some of the same old stories that we've told for years. Yeah, so those are really good memories. But understanding, man, football is just a part of the journey. Yeah, it is what we do, and it is very much a huge part of my life. But trying to understand that football has allowed me to experience other things in life too. Yeah, which has been pretty neat. Yeah, definitely. Well, Coach, I thank you for joining us. I hope what he said was encouraging to y'all. If anything, you learned that his first name is Joshua, so that's cool. Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on here and just sharing your heart. We appreciate what you're doing with the high schoolers up at Prattville High and what you're doing with the program, and we're looking forward to being outside and together again come the fall and seeing some Friday Night Lights. So thanks, Caleb, for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.